And the third key item I want to raise this morning is the really, really important and difficult issue of SEND, special educational needs and disabilities for children.
You've probably seen this clip of Richard Tice talking about SEND, and I'd like to add something to it. But before we do, let's hear some of Richard's personal examples of his contact with people with disabilities in order to know when he talks about overdiagnosing or making cuts, he talks with experience and compassion with common sense.
This is actually, it goes to the core of who we are. And actually for me, it's also quite personal. A very dear friend of mine who had not one but two children in a wheelchair, the struggles that he had and his wife to secure the provision that they obviously needed was extraordinary. And in my own extended family, young lad at primary school, told he would need a bit of extra support, and he got that at school. He was never going to be an Oxbridge candidate. Didn't go to uni. Done brilliantly, fantastic job, doing well. To be told by a psychologist in your early 20s that you've got a problem, that you're labelled, that you need to take medication is frankly, and that medication might be for the long term, I think that's outrageous.
Okay, this is the point where I begin to get absolutely pissed off with this line of reasoning, as I believe this categorisation is a direct result of Thatcher and industrialist dogma. The notion that we're either a productive member of society or not was compounded in the 80s, where the individual was encouraged to be selfish, a go-getter. Getting rich was your reward for working hard, and if you couldn't hack it, then you just weren't trying hard enough.
And what is going on is that SEND is in crisis. And I've been specifically asked by council officers, directors of services, to tell it as it is.
The narrow parameters of how we define success mean that many people feel like they're a failure, which lead people to question whether or not something is wrong with them. The society we've created, the type that Reform and the Conservatives herald, are one of the individual over community. It's not one that's friendly to failure. We've made people who function differently feel like they're outcasts.
We all want the very best provision for the most deserving. I reiterate that absolutely. But there is a crisis of overdiagnosis of children with neurodiverse issues. And you can come up with all sorts of new labels, but
the right has spent years telling us if we're failures, then it was our fault we didn't fit into this toxic society that they've created, one which puts greed over connection. And now people like Tice want to attack us for being the outcasts. He's happy to continue the legacy of Thatcher, but what will he do to bring us all closer together? Now, listeners, the only way that Tice can frame his point is by referring to it as a bad deal. No, Richard, we're not part of a business proposition, and education shouldn't be seen as a business either. Perhaps this is the reason why we're in this mess in the first place.
Our beloved children, they are not 10% more in need every single year. Basic common sense tells you that. So you say, what is going on? What is going on here with this overdiagnosis? And there's a whole bunch of factors. But the state and all of us, we're all suffering. In a sense, we're being sort of, in inverted commas, we've been given a bad deal. But the people who suffer the most are the children.
Click here for some more Reform reprobates.